This is my impression or understanding of the peekaboo. All these people are saying peekaboo's this, peekaboo's that, peekaboo's not this, peekaboo's not that, but they're all missing the concept. Yeah, apart from some of the top guys who really know what it's about, right? Peekaboo, Custom Mato isn't the only peekaboo man in the world. He's fantastic and he's trained some fantastic fighters, Floyd Patterson, Mike Tyson, yeah. But peekaboo, you could say, I say that anyone who's got their hands who's got more of a square stance is a peekaboo fighter, yeah. If his aim is what I'm about to describe, if his aim and his theory behind the way he fights is what I'm about to describe, right? You see, because a lot of people are teaching this peekaboo, it's this, it's that, it's the other, right? But what peekaboo is this. It's an aggressive form of fighting, right? So no matter who you're fighting, your opponent, right? My aim is to kind of move forward and around. This is peekaboo. Forward and around to the left, forward and around to his right, right? Without getting hit. So basically, in a fight, no matter how good you are, a normal fighter will fight more side on, yeah? A peekaboo fighter will fight more square on, right? So that's one thing, but but fighting more square on gives you the option of going round to his left, round to his right, right? So that's part of the peekaboo. You fight a bit more square on, right? So that's the key thing. Point 2, peekaboo fighter, you're going to be going at a guy when he's trying to punch you. You're not you can do it. There's nothing wrong with doing it. You're going to still try and avoid some punches by staying out of the way. But the essence of peekaboo fighting is to get right in amongst them punches, yeah, and to use your normal boxing techniques to make sure none of them land, yeah. So I might be fighting a guy, peekaboo, yeah, and he might throw a punch straight on, let's say a straight punch, right? And I can slip it, right? And I can slip to the left, I can slip to the right, right? He might start hooking me. I can weave, yeah? I can weave left or right under his punches, right? He might come straight on and I don't know what's going on and I can block, bang, just block everything, right? He might throw punches to my head and I can duck, right? Still peekaboo. And what you'll find is, if you look at these fighters that I class as being peekaboo fighters, Floyd Patterson, right? Floyd Patterson, he did with the peekaboo, right? He was more square on, and he wanted to get in amongst the punches. But Floyd, because he's got a bloody good set of legs, his main technique, which suited his nature, suited his body, suited his strength, was ducking. Floyd used to duck a lot under punches, yeah? Mike Tyson, peekaboo fighter. Mike Tyson, he likes to move, he does the same thing again. He's I can't remember what the first thing is, but the second thing is, he wants to get in amongst everything while you're punching, and Mike Tyson's was an excellent slipper. He slipped really well, and he also weaved really well, right? Jose Torres, he was like a peekaboo fighter, but he used to, I don't know what you could say that he used to do, because he was like a more of an orthodox fighter if you look at him. Yeah, apart from he was more square on and moving into the mix, right? Moving into the mix, aggressive, right? And another fighter that I class as peekaboo, which other people might not, and I think is a fantastic peekaboo fighter, is Ronald Winky Wright. Ronald Winky Wright, yeah, same as the rest of them. He had a more square on stance, but he used to block everything. He didn't bother to, he did weave and duck and dive, but his main number one thing for him was to, whenever anyone was coming in, he used to block. He used to block. and then he'd come in, but he'd be in the mix and he'd closing it down, block and in. Mike Tyson, slip and in. Floyd Patterson, duck and in. Yeah? And Torres, he did a bit of everything, right? So this is the key thing. To have a more square on stance, and this is the real important stuff, to go towards your fighter, right? And Customato, because he's a master boxer, he understands the game. He used to make his fighters fight, no matter what. So basically, I'm not going to just go in like that. Yeah, I might do that to dummy. It's a lot of dummying as well. A lot of dummying in peekaboo, right? So, you know, he can't really know what I want to do, and it's going to upset his game. But all the time I have to be closing in. But Customato, the magic of Cus, he used to teach him. They used to move in with a square around stance and then get round to the sides. And get round to the sides. And once they're at the sides, he used to unleash a combination. And then another key thing for a good peekaboo is after the last punch, you move. You know, you don't whatever, and then 1-2. You do whatever, 1-2, and you move. You clear yourself. So you clear yourself out. Right? So that's peekaboo. It's about a bit more square on, legs bent, so you're ready to move in, move around. If I was that way, if I was side on, it can be done, as you can see by Muhammad Ali, but it's harder for me to move around to my... It's easy for me to get to the left, but it's harder for me to get to my right, around the guy. But with peekaboo, because it's a bit more squarer and my legs are bent, and I'm ducking and diving and getting into the monkey, it's easier for me to get around to my right. It's easy for me to go straight down the middle, left or right. It's a beautiful fighting style. Yeah? Another thing, and if someone slams a punch down the middle, I'm blocking like that. And if you don't want to call that peekaboo, I don't give a shit. It is. Right? Another thing is, I think Cus was more of an expert. He showed how to block, let's say, while you're slipping, yeah. So imagine I see a straight punch, he's got a straight left hand, right, and I slip, yeah. I slip that punch. Now, I might have mistaken that, yeah. I might have mistaken that, and it's a hook, and he catches, he's coming around with a hook, right, which I would normally bob under and boom, yeah. But if your hands are like that, yeah, and I bobbed, and it wasn't, and the straight punch would have missed, but a hook, I'm leading the hook can ride up my arm and hit me in the head. So Cus was like a pinpoint scientist. So he'll make them, when you go down with your head, yeah, he'll make it so that if they do hook, it doesn't slide up your arm and hit you on the head. So you kind of keep your arms more straight there. Not straight there. If you're straight there, that's going to put it off up to the head. If you're straight there, that's going to block it. Right? So bottom line of it is, the real important thing about a peekaboo isn't really all this I'm peekabooing and whatever, which Winky Wright does, which Tyson does, right? The real secret of peekaboo is my concept of fighting is I'm more square on, I've got bent legs, yeah, my hands are in a guard position and I'm ready. I can go left, I can go right, and I can go down the middle. I can slip if I want to. I can bob and weave when necessary. I can duck when necessary, ducking in, duck out. But it's meant to be driving yourself forward to knocking that guy out. And when you're amongst it all, because you're a peekaboo fighter, once you're in close, which is what you want to be, Yeah? This is where you do your work. This is where you know what to do. So once you do finally, you get amongst it all real close, and you're ready to move left and right and everything, that's your territory. And you can unleash wicked combinations, knockout combinations, you know what I mean, dangerous, hurting combinations. Liverpool, you've got it all sussed out because that's what you've trained for. Yeah? You train for that close fighting, to unleash against someone who's there, right there with you. Not at range. Not at range. You know, you're unleashing with a guy who's there. So first, it's good for fighting bigger guys, for one, because he's going to want his range. And you're at home right with him, right up close. And you're unleashing your combinations. Bang, bang, bang. You know, you're unleashing your combinations. And you're ducking, and not only that, you're ducking everything. Ducking and diving, bobbing and weaving. Bang, bang. Yeah? And moving round. That's what a lot of people don't like. Moving round. And so, the peekaboo, if you want to teach someone peekaboo, first thing, tell them straight, forget the peekaboo, right? The first thing you get a better stance, a more square stance. Yeah? Second thing, your aim in the fight is to get right into this guy's face. Right up close to him. You got that? Third thing, while you're doing this, getting up close to him, you have to make sure that you don't get hit, and use your body and whatever you're good at to stop it happening. Like Tyson, you might do a lot of slipping. You might do a lot of slipping and weaving. Like Patterson, you might do a lot of dipping. You know what I mean? Like Winky Wright, you might do a lot of blocking. Whatever's good for you, your trainer will find out what's best for you. You will no doubt use everything, but you'll have some strong points based on your body, based on your fitness, based on Patterson's legs, based on Tyson's torso and build. You know what I mean? Based on Winky Wright. You know, he's comfortable with a guy laying into him with all these fast punches, straights and hooks. He's really comfortable moving forward into that. And he knows what to do. Yeah? So you're moving forward. And last but not least, always be ready in an optimum position. So you've got to keep your legs bent. Yeah? To move left, to move right. You know what I mean? You've got to be able to move left and right, boom, boom, and work around the fighter. And that's it. That's peekaboo. So a lot of people seem to be distracted. And they're arguing about, oh, that's a typical stance, yeah? They're arguing about, oh, no, your elbows need to be closer. No, your arms are too far away. No, you shouldn't really be doing that. You're doing that too much. No, you need to be doing this. They've missed the point. Do you not get it? They've missed the whole fucking point. They've missed the point. It's nothing to do with that at all. It's to do with them concepts that I've told you. And that's it. And that's the peekaboo. And then if you've got a good trainer, he'll bring out your essence. I might be a guy who works good around a guy. But my mate who's training, he might be a guy who works good straight down the middle with uppercuts, you know what I mean? He might be one of them. And the bottom line of it is, from range, until you're in his face and knocking him out, you shouldn't be getting hit at all. That's the peekaboo. You could say, well, that's boxing. And it is. But boxing is more, like classical boxing, is more about using your jab and your cross and movement and balance and bobbing, weaving and slipping. Yeah, moving around until you can finish him. But peekaboo isn't exactly that. It is kind of that. But it's about let him throw. You need to be having a guy who's throwing at you big time. And you've got to be comfortable missing, ducking, diving, bobbing and weaving everything until you get him. And when you get close, you know exactly what to do. And you know how to put the hurt on him. Another thing with peekaboo as well, which shouldn't be overlooked, is dummying. What do you call it? Fainting. You know, you should be able to feint. A good peekaboo guy, in order to do that, in order to get in close, in order to slip everything, in order to bring certain punches out to the guy, you've got to be good at feinting. So feinting's another thing. And I don't know any of them boxers that were good at feinting. But I'll show you. But that's still peekaboo. That's part of the game, man. And one day you'll get a guy who's a bit square on, yeah, he slips well, he ducks and dives like an expert, he bobs and weaves like an expert, he's got masterful dummies, he gets right in the face, and he punishes with devastating combinations from close range. And that is your peekaboo master. That might be me, but I'm past it now. And I'll be honest with you, I could have been a good professional boxer, but I didn't want to because I got headaches every time I was doing hard sparring, really bad headaches, and that happened to my dad, who was a professional boxer. And he's injured. He's got brain injury because of that. And he used to fight at range. My dad was a mover. He was a mover, man. You know, he used to fight at range. But he had a lot of fights in Jamaica and a lot of fights in England while he was amateur in the Air Force and armies and all that kind of business, and then turned pro. And he fought Jim Watt once or twice. He got beat by him, he got cut. But anyway, forget that. That's nothing. I could beat my own dad up in his prime. But I just like it's a street thing for me. I'm not interested in boxing as a career and getting my brains kicked in. Respect to the man who does. You're entitled to do whatever you want with your life. I've fucked my life up without doing that. Not much of that anyway. Respect to every man and respect for the courage it takes to put your body under that kind of punishment. The body is fine. The brain is the only thing. Anyway, that's peekaboo. Respect.